Welcome to Revenge Was Peace. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comment.
Take the job, he said, smiling warmly, his eyes filled with pride. It'll be amazing for your career. Distance won't break us, baby. I genuinely believed him. After 4 years together and an engagement ring sparkling proudly on my finger, why wouldn't I? Alex had always been supportive, or at least that's what I'd convinced myself. When the job offer came from a prestigious company 3 hours away, he practically pushed me out the door with excitement, reassuring me we'd be just fine. The first few weeks were a blur of excitement, anxiety, and endless video calls. Alex and I talked every night. He asked about my new colleagues, laughed at my stories about awkward coffee breaks, and made me feel like I was still home. We're stronger than ever, I thought, blissfully unaware of the cracks forming beneath the surface. It was my neighbor who first raised suspicion. Mrs. Evans had always been nosy, but her message one afternoon felt different. Is Alex doing okay? I stared at the text, puzzled. Yeah. Why? She took forever to respond, typing and deleting repeatedly. Finally, another ping. Oh, nothing. Just thought it was odd seeing him with someone else. Probably just a friend. Sorry. Ignore me. My heart skipped, but I brushed it off. Alex had plenty of friends, male and female. Jealousy wasn't like me. A week later, my best friend Tessa called, her voice cautious. Hey, you okay? Of course. I laughed. Why wouldn't I be? She hesitated. Have you talked to Alex today? We texted this morning. Did he mention anything unusual? No, Tess. What's going on? Forget it, she said hurriedly. I must have misunderstood. But the seed was planted, sprouting anxiety and doubt. The next weekend, I decided to surprise Alex by driving home. I arrived earlier than expected, my heart fluttering with anticipation. When I unlocked the door and stepped inside, the silence felt off. My stomach twisted as I walked toward our bedroom, half expecting to find him asleep or watching TV. Instead, I saw 2 wine glasses on the nightstand, a woman's sweater draped carelessly over my favorite chair, and the faint scent of perfume I didn't recognize. My breath caught. I felt dizzy, numb. I dialed Alex with shaking hands. He answered cheerfully, oblivious. Hey babe, how's work? I'm home, Alex. Silence. Oh, great. I'll be there soon. Whose sweater is this on my chair? Another silence. Heavier this time. It's not what you're thinking, he stammered. Then explain it. I whispered coldly, my voice trembling. He sighed deeply. Can we talk when I get home? I hung up without answering. I sat frozen, the sweater mocking me, the evidence of betrayal undeniable. How could I have been so blind? At that moment, I didn't know this was only the tip of the iceberg. The truth was far uglier and more calculated than I imagined, and soon, I'd uncovered just how deeply he'd betrayed me. But the worst was yet to come. I didn't sleep that night. I lay on my bed now, I guess staring at the ceiling while my mind spiraled. Who was she? How long had this been going on? Why now? Just when things were finally going well for me. When Alex came home the next morning, he looked like a kid caught stealing cookies. Not apologetic, just uncomfortable. That alone told me everything. Can we talk? He asked, voice low. Sure, I said, cold as marble. Let's talk about the sweater, the wine glasses, the perfume. He tried to spin it, said it was a mistake, that she was just someone he ran into, that he was lonely, that I was so busy. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just listened, quietly cataloging every lie. Then he slipped. She was going through a tough time and needed a place to stay. I didn't think it would be a big deal. My heart stopped. You let her stay here? He backpedaled, tried to change the subject, but it was too late. Later that week, I checked our Ring camera history. I never thought I'd need to. Turns out, Alex had disabled the alerts weeks ago. I reactivated everything. I went through the logs. She'd been here almost every night for the past month. I recognized her. It was Chloe, his ex. The one he said was a lesson in a closed chapter. The same Chloe who had cheated on him, left him broke, then begged to come back. Apparently, he took her in, not just into our house, into our bed. I felt sick. But then something else clicked. I checked our shared calendar. He had encouraged me to track my work trips there. Every single weekend I was scheduled to be away, she had been here. He had planned this. He wanted me to leave town. He wanted space to bring her back in. All that support, all that go chase your dreams talk, it was strategy. I wasn't his fiancé anymore. I was his alibi. I couldn't breathe, but I didn't cry. I started packing. Not my things. His. He came home to find all his belongings neatly boxed, stacked by the door. No drama. No confrontation. Just a note. Turns out you were right. Distance did break us. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Because the house we lived in, it wasn't his. It was mine. And Chloe? She wasn't just crashing here. She had plans. And I was about to find out exactly what they were. I thought it was over. That he'd take his things, move in with Chloe, and I'd finally have peace. But 2 days after Alex moved out, I came home to find Chloe sitting on my porch. Like she belonged there. We need to talk, she said, calm as ever, like this wasn't completely insane. No. We don't. You need to get off my property, she smirked. Actually, that's kind of why I'm here. You should check your mailbox. I didn't reply, just walked past her, unlocked the door, and found the envelope she was talking about. No stamp, just my name written in rushed handwriting. Inside was a handwritten letter. She was suing me for tenancy rights. Apparently, she claimed to have lived here for over 30 days and wanted legal recognition as a resident. I was stunned, speechless. Alex must have helped her fabricate documents. There were fake receipts, groceries, utility contributions, even a lease agreement signed with forged initials. It was amateur, but just enough to scare someone who'd never dealt with legal drama before. I called my lawyer the next morning. "Don't worry," she said. "This kind of stunt won't hold in court. But it's going to get messy." And it did. Chloe started showing up during the day, claiming she was just there to collect her things, only she didn't take anything. She walked around like she owned the place. Left coffee cups, rearranged books. Once, I found a strand of her hair draped over my pillow like a warning. It was psychological warfare. I started documenting everything: videos, photos, voice memos. My lawyer told me to hold tight. Don't engage. Let her hang herself legally. Then came the final straw. I got a call from my company's HR department. "Hi. We received an anonymous complaint regarding unethical conduct and inappropriate relationships." My blood ran cold. I knew instantly who it was. Chloe or Alex, maybe both. They were trying to get me fired. Luckily, I had nothing to hide. But it was enough to make me realize they weren't just trying to hurt me emotionally. They wanted to ruin me. I wasn't dealing with a bitter ex. I was dealing with predators. And I'd had enough. They thought they were playing chess. They forgot I wrote the rules. Time to flip the game. Update coming. I didn't just fight back. I buried them quietly. From that moment on, I stopped reacting and started preparing. I knew Chloe thrived on chaos, so I gave her none. No yelling, no texts, no acknowledgement, just silence. Meanwhile, I collected everything. Security footage showing her entering without permission. Screenshots of her texts to Alex where they mocked me. Even a voice memo from a neighbor who overheard them laughing about how easy it was. I handed everything to my lawyer. She smiled and said, "Perfect." Then I made one more quiet move. I contacted the building inspector. See, Alex had done some renovations on the house while I was away. Poorly, illegally, including converting our guest room into a second bedroom without permits. The inspector took one look and flagged everything. Fines, violations, the works. Guess whose name was on every submitted document? Alex's. And the cherry on top? I filed a restraining order against Chloe. With all the evidence, the judge didn't blink. She was banned from coming within 300 feet of my home or me. I didn't even show up in person. My lawyer handled it all. Then I did something they never expected. I went online. Not to rant, not to accuse. I just posted one simple entry in a private forum we all used back in college. The place where Chloe and Alex first started dating. Title: What They Did to Me. I told the story with no names, just facts. Within a week, their social circle knew everything. Turns out, betrayal is hard to justify when it's written out in cold detail. Alex lost a freelance deal he was bragging about for months. Chloe vanished from every shared group. But I stayed quiet, never responded, never defended myself. Because I didn't need to. They burned their own reputations. I just handed them the match. And now, finally, I could breathe. Or so I thought. Until I got a letter from Alex's lawyer. He was contesting the ownership of the house, claiming he contributed to renovations and deserved equity. They weren't done with me, but they should have been. I didn't panic. I forwarded the letter to my lawyer, then sat back and watched him try to rewrite history. His claim was built on the renovations, those illegal, unpermitted changes he made while I was away, the same ones that had triggered fines and code violations. His lawyer tried to argue that Alex had invested in the property and deserved compensation. But here's the thing. Every transfer, every purchase, every so-called improvement he made was under my name, or without authorization. My lawyer prepared a response so sharp it could slice steel. She included the building violations, the inspector's report, the restraining order against Chloe, and a timeline of Alex's actions lined up perfectly with the dates I was working out of town. We didn't just reject his claim. We countered, sued him for damages, harassment, and emotional distress. Suddenly, he went quiet. But the best part, when we subpoenaed communication records to support the harassment claim, more came to light. Alex and Chloe had been planning everything. Emails, shared notes, even a spreadsheet where they tracked my work travel schedule, legal steps, and what to say if questioned. It was all so pathetic. Organized betrayal dressed up like strategy. My lawyer looked at me and said, "They thought this was a game of power, but they were never even in the game." She offered a settlement. They took it. A non-disclosure agreement. A formal withdrawal of all claims. And an agreement to stay permanently away from me and my property. It was over. Legally. Emotionally. Completely. I didn't celebrate. I went for a walk. Bought myself a coffee. Sat in silence and watched the sun hit the rooftops. And for the first time in months, I felt still, but not numb, just free. The silence after the storm was the strangest part. No letters, no drama, no Chloe on my porch, just life. At first, I didn't know what to do with that stillness. I'd spent so long in defense mode checking cameras, saving screenshots, watching my back that peace felt unnatural. But slowly, I started reclaiming things. My bedroom, once poisoned by their presence, became mine again. I bought new sheets, burned candles with warm, grounding scents, painted the walls a softer color. I stopped checking my phone expecting bad news. I slept through the night. I began therapy not to understand them, but to reconnect with me, the version of me before the betrayal, before I thought love meant sacrifice without reciprocity. And you know what I learned? I wasn't naive for trusting him. He was cruel for exploiting that trust. One afternoon, I found the engagement ring tucked in the back of a drawer. For a second, I held it in my palm. It looked so small now. I sold it, used the money for a solo weekend trip to the coast. I watched the sun dip into the ocean and felt, for the first time in a long time, like I wasn't surviving, I was living. I don't think about Alex or Chloe much anymore. If I do, it's only as a reminder of how far I've come. They didn't just lose me. They lost the access, the shelter, the steady life they tried to hijack. And I built something better without them. No revenge plot. No social media callouts. Just silence. And distance. And healing. This chapter is closed. I'm not who I was when this began. And I'm never going back. You don't need to be loud to win. Sometimes walking away is the loudest thing you'll ever do.